Hi there, Totally Amazing here, the home of scientific knowledge and discovery since the 1st of January 2K19, and a jolly good afternoon to you all lovely viewer. And I'm going to start by first saying like, comment, subscribe and get the bell on. Now, if you're wondering why my hair is looking the way it is, well, I kind of got caught in a rainstorm earlier on, and no, it just didn't rain a little bit. It actually stoned it down. But that's not the obvious subject of today's video, as you can see by the title. Now, just as a sort of fill-in, basically, this is how the day went. In fact, let me actually get that light on, that light that I actually fixed yesterday, because I do like that. Let's actually, how are we going to do this? Yeah, that's fine. Let's do away. There we are. Thought that actually malfunctioned on us then. So anyway, today I've been out and purchased a SONY XPERIA, that's faulty, as you can see by the ticket, for £30, and its original selling price was 119. Let's just zoom in a little bit on the bench so we can see that. There we go, hang on, let's just sort of zoom in. There we go. Let's just sort of prop it up on there maybe. I don't know if that's going to hold. Maybe, kind of maybe not. No, obviously maybe not. Let's just try with a metal steel rule. There we go. So I purchased that thing for £30. Obviously it says that it has a faulty touchscreen. I'm not sure if that's the case, but what we'll do in a moment is power it on. But anyway, after purchasing it, I decided to go for a couple of cups of coffee and do some shopping. And I obviously got my timing really wrong, because after leaving Tesco's, where I usually go for my sort of regular coffees during the day, I then decide it's time to go off and get this fixed. And then obviously I get caught in a rainstorm. And obviously, you know, I was a bit concerned by all of my other electronics, but they're all still working, so my phone and my iPod is fine. Now we just get zoom in a little bit more, because this phone does actually have a visible fault. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's actually just down here in the corner. Not sure actually if you will be able to see it, but there is actually a crack on the screen. In fact, yes, you can just about, there you are, you can just see the crack across here. Get rid of some of the sort of smudge marks and you might be able to see that. There you are, sort of just there. Okay, so this obviously says that it has a faulty screen, but I think there is a, well, I'm not sure that the touch screen's exactly faulty, but let's just get rid of the £30 sort of price ticket. There we are. And obviously this is on today's date, which is Thursday the 25th of April, and at the time that I'm making this is 14:23 hours at the time that this video is being made. Now I don't know much about this Xperia anyway, only other than what it just says here. It's the Z3 and it says apparently open, and that just basically means that it's open to all networks. Now the only thing I do know about this is that it has a 20.7 megapixel camera on the rear, and 20.7 megapixels for a camera is not too bad. This at the side here that you can see, as far as I know, that's actually for wireless charging. Apparently that's here, and it has the usual kind of affair. This sort of thing is a little bit loose. That's the micro USB charging port. There's some hole there, which I'm assuming So you can either attach a lanyard to it or some sort of, it could be a speaker port or something. And then there's the usual microphone and earphone jack. And then on this side we have what looks like, that sort of, yeah, an on and off switch. That's there for obviously a micro SD card, which obviously is not installed. Then we have the power button, volume up and down, and obviously the camera button here. Now, what we can do for the moment is we're going to actually put some power into this and just generally see what happens. This is not actually going to be the point, I don't think, where I overly fix this. I'm obviously going to want to just get some juice into this anyway and see essentially what happens. But straight away we can actually see that the screen is indeed all intact, at least somewhat, and we have the battery logo appeared. I'm going to quickly give that a wipe over anyway and just get rid of some of these smudgy marks. I might need to get some screen cleaner. Oh, and we seem to have some sort of life there. So I've just accidentally pressed something. I don't know what this is going to do. It might come on, it might not. No, it's just saying 1%. So bearing in mind, that actually seems to partly work. Now, I'm going to actually not only charge this up, but I seem to have this funny inkling that there are a few people that could be right, which say, take one of these, this is actually a hairdryer, the good old-fashioned hairdryer trick, and warm the back of it up, obviously not while it's charging, but we'll get some charge into there, warm the back up and see what that does. If that doesn't actually work, then I'm probably going to suspect that it might well be a software fault. I'm not convinced that it is hardware, to be honest with you. It could be, but I'm not really overly convinced at this stage. You see, pressing the power button, it does appear to actually try and turn on. It does appear to, yeah, well, pressing the up and down key. Oh, it's saying powered by Android. Oh, it seems to have come on. That's interesting. What we'll do is, well, we've definitely got something that's saying O2 here. What I'm actually going to do is just turn this off anyway, just for the time being. That would be a complete fluke if actually this is working. Well, it's not. So maybe the touchscreen has actually gone. And yes, it is actually the touch screen, so it's not working at all, as we can see. So what we'll do anyway is we'll just power this thing off. There we go. And what we'll try and do is get some charge in it. And I'm going to try the good old-fashioned hairdryer trick, just in case something's a little bit loose there. It could be that. I've certainly had that issue before. With iPods, and a few people have actually mentioned with the XPERIAs that can be the case. So yeah, we're going to actually try that. I don't quite know why it's turning itself back on for. So it could even be possibly a software fault. Well, actually, it's not turned itself on, but that's what we're going to try. We might actually open the thing up at a later date. If obviously I can't figure out if it is indeed a software fault. So, I mean, what I will end up doing is I do have a Linux enabled machine or Linux enabled laptop. So we can try and plug this in and see if it's recognizing obviously any of the USB functionality of it. And maybe we might be able to do a software reflash or something along those lines. But at this stage, I'm probably not entirely convinced it's an overall faulty touchscreen. Not convinced at this stage. It could be. It could well be. I mean, the crack that we have here in the lower portion, if you can still see it, crack there, as you can kind of see there, that could affect it. There it is. It doesn't feel raised as such, and I can't feel not too much of any break there. But yeah, now you can see it. That crack just here. You can actually sort of see it there. Now, it could be that that area of the digitizer is broken, in which case then we'll be definitely stripping the phone down, and it will require me to go and actually acquire some specific tools. Now, unfortunately, these are some of the tools I don't have, so I will probably need to go and acquire some of those, and that will mean that we do a visit on this another day, unless, of course, I can find other ways of getting round the problem. Now, the heat gun, obviously, because there is a adhesive that's actually on the back. I'm not quite sure whether or not a hairdryer will be. I mean, this hairdryer is a little bit more powerful than the previous one you saw. This Babyless steel is an 1800 watt. Whether or not that's actually warm enough to sort of deal with the adhesive there, I don't know. But if not, we actually do have a professional hot air gun anyway that we can use. And then obviously all we need to do then is get hold of a suction cup. So while we heat the underside of it, then obviously we'll gently suction lift the screen off. Now, if it is something loose behind there, well, that could affect it. Maybe the digitizer is broken, but what we can do is certainly rule out a software fault initially, purely because that's the easiest way to go. We never know, that reflashing the software may work. Now, as this does actually have a micro USB connection, I do have a USB OTG adapter, so the on-the-go thing, so I can actually attach an external mouse and use that for everything I may need to do. So if we do need to do anything, certainly, in relation to any sort of interaction, and the touchscreen is not working at the moment, we can certainly rule out operating system faults by attaching a mouse into this. Now, that would be a way that I would go, certainly, to diagnose any further faults and for troubleshooting. That's certainly something I would be looking at doing anyway. And we would obviously be, if we do go that route, then we'll be obviously doing that while we wait for a replacement digitizer. See, it's unlikely, well, I mean, it's definitely not the rest of the screen, because we saw that power up. So it's probably just the main digitizer on there. That's what's at fault. Now, further to that, I don't know whether the actual digitizer and the screen is as one unit. It could well be, in which case then we just replace the screen. Total cost of that phone would then be £50 spent, because I'd probably pick up a replacement screen for around £20 or so. And then obviously I could sell the phone and get close to £100, make £50 profit. Hopefully, if I can fix it as is, then I'm making £70 profit. That would be uber awesome, totally amazing. But anyway, I think this is kind of going on for a little bit long now. And there's the any sticker there. So it's just saying any, which that means any network. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a laptop ready and essentially powered up. And we'll see what happens with that. I'll try running a hairdryer over the back of it and see if that makes any difference. If not, then we'll have to obviously do things a little bit of a different way. Now, the other thing, just before we do go, could be an option, or it could be rather a possibility, is that somebody has maybe enabled developer mode, and you can do that by going into settings. In fact, I can show you on my phone here. To get into developer mode, and this is what somebody could have indeed done, which would be incredibly impressively stupid if they have. I don't know whether it could be done on the Xperia, and not all of these phones will do it, but let's just find I can't remember where my settings are on this. This is obviously a completely different phone. Ah, there we are, settings. And if we then scroll down to about phone, now I already have development options enabled, but normally what you do is you go on to, where is it? Something around here, the model number, or somewhere like that. Where is it? Well, I've already, if I turn off, in fact, let's turn off developer options, then go into about phone. Oh, I've lost it now, I can't remember where it actually is. But anyway, oh gosh, where is it? Oh no, well on this phone it's a little bit different. But basically what you do on some of these, you can go into the settings, go onto about phone, and then there's like the model number or phone serial number. Tap that 7 times, and then basically you can go into developer options. And you can do all sorts of things from there on in. And one of the options that you can do is actually disable the touchscreen. Now again, on this phone, well, on this J3, I've not actually played around with that. It's not something I would really want to actually do. It's kind of pointless, but I'm assuming you probably could disable the touchscreen options, and that's potentially even what somebody could have done. That would be an incredibly stupid thing to do, but sometimes you get these people which do actually want to, play around with their phones and unlock them and do all sorts of other things. And if you start playing around with settings that they don't know about, that's certainly a possibility. So, sort of going on a little bit, so we're going to get some charge into here anyway, leave this to charge up. I'm going to fetch a laptop over, running Linux, probably a flavour of Kali Linux, which I usually use for hacking and cracking and all sorts of other things, and we'll see where we go from there. I'll also try the kind of hairdryer trick, and we can also get the USB on the go adapter as well and attach an external mouse. So we've got loads of angles of attack with this that we can actually approach the problem. And if all of this fails, or it all points towards that screen, then that's okay, because while we're waiting for additional tools and parts, we can then go ahead and get a replacement screen for it. And that would obviously then be a revisit at another day. But anyway, for the short term, this is yours truly, totally amazing, the home of scientific knowledge and discovery, and obviously, for all things engineering, and everything else for that matter. And this is obviously since the 1st of January 2K19. Let's just zoom back out. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and smash the bell. There's that sort of bell icon over there or down there or wherever it is. Get that pressed, so then you'll know when I put out another video. And even if you didn't like this, well, even if you don't like the video, just give it a thumbs up anyway, or whatever. And, well, You know, by hitting the bell, you never know, you might run into some content that you actually do like. And anyway, this is a bit better than watching any sort of garbage on TV. At least here, it's a more productive waste of time. If you could call it a waste of time, I wouldn't. I would call it scientific knowledge and discovery. But anyway, I hope that you liked the video, even if you didn't. As I said, like, comment, subscribe, get the bell on, put a comment in the box, and if it's any good, you'll be pinned. As simple as that. So until the next time, stay totally amazing, and I'll see you soon, my lovely viewer. Ciao, ciao. See you in a bit.